Hey, listen, y'all, make sure that you do not forget about the webinar happening next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. This literally will be your last reminder. By the time the next podcast is released, it'll already be 2 hours too late. So, listen, remember, it's $97 for anyone who is not a Dealer Synergy client. So make sure you get the link. Go back to the previous episode or find us on Facebook. Y'all know where we are. Y'all act like y'all know where to find us. I may have them put it in the show notes here. If for any reason $97 is a challenge for you, first of all, you should probably listen to this podcast even more than you already do, because if $97 is a challenge, then we ain't been doing our daggum job, or you just ain't been listening. But listen, shoot me a text at 267-551-6279. Make your case. Let me know, why you can't come up with $97, and maybe I'll send you the client link and you guys can get in that way. Now, here's the thing. I'm not making no promises. I promise. Here's the other thing. It's going to be some extra special perks and all that type of stuff for all of the paid clients. If you come in on the client link, then you ain't going to get all the extra little goodies. You know what I'm saying? So listen, but you can shoot me a text anyway and let me know if you need a voucher, if you need to kind of get in the back door and all that kind of stuff. I'll see if I can slide some folks in there, all right? Again, my number, 267-551-6279. Just text me the number 97, and I'll see if I can get you in without having to pay. 97. And you can say, thanks, Blind Master L.A. Williams. Check this out. Here's this week's episode.
AutoWeb. Welcome to the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, the #1 resource for automotive sales professionals, managers, and owners to learn how to make money, accumulate wealth, and to all out ball out in the auto industry. And now your hosts, Sean V. Bradley and L.A. Williams.
1, 2, 3, 4,
AutoWeb.
Hey everybody, this is Sean V. Bradley, president of Dealer Synergy and the creator of the Millionaire Car Salesman Facebook group and this Millionaire Car Salesman podcast. And we have a guest in the building, Miss Tianna Mick. Tianna, what's up, Tianna?
Hey everybody, glad to be here.
Okay, so Tianna, glad to be here. You just got back. You've been traveling like crazy. You just got back from Florida. What were you doing in Florida?
Yeah, it was super exciting. I was at Digital Dealer for the Tampa Convention Center. We were at the Tampa Convention Center from May 9th until the 12th. So it was super fun.
All right. So you've been to Digital Dealer with us before with Dealer Synergy, but what was different about this version?
I was by myself basically, and I was on a panel. So I was able to network and kind of just connect with everybody there on a speaker level, not kind of through the lens of an exhibitor. I feel like the badges definitely, ward you away when you have that exhibitor badge versus the, speaker badge. They kind of want to more talk to you, see what you have to say. So I kind of went in there with a new set of eyes.
Okay, so kind of tell the people that have never been to Digital Dealer, kind of just talk through it. What is the conference like, and what do you feel is the main purpose of the conference, and what happens at these type of events?
Yeah, so I basically would kind of boil it down to a conference of just combining all different kind of technologies and strategies onto one platform so that it's equal kind of playing grounds. And not really equal when it comes to the exhibitors. Obviously when you're paying $10,000 for a booth versus like $5,000, one is going to stand out more than the other. But for this instance, kind of like an equal playing ground. So you're able to look at everybody's different strategies, technologies, programs, and, automotive practices that you can hopefully bring back to your dealership. So if you are looking for a training company, or you're looking for an HR company, that's a way for you to network and kind of build your book of business for your dealership. So that way, if you need those, you would have those in your back pocket. So that's kind of what I would boil it down to. When it comes to like the speaking sessions and things like that, when we were speaking on our panel about diversity and inclusion. That's obviously more, we're not selling anything. That's more just Digital Dealer kind of was just being proactive and realizing, okay, diversity is an issue in automotive. We need to get on top of it. So I'm glad to be a part of that subject as well.
Okay. So from my perspective, because I was there, I'm going to give you some history lessons here. Do you know what the Digital Dealer Conference was called before it was called the Digital Dealer Conference?
Mm-mm.
Okay. It was called the AAISP. So for my old heads that are listening to this right now, I know I'm bringing you back. Okay, so the AAISP stands for the Association of Automotive Internet Sales Professionals. Did you know that too?
No.
Yes, I even have, I'm actually one of the founding members of the AAISP. I remember there was a guy named Dr. Lloyd Richardson who was head of it at first, and then it morphed into Digital Dealer. But what it started out to be in the very early 2000, I think 2005 or 2004, somewhere around there, 2006, I forget, is an association again for automotive internet sales professionals, because internet sales was so new and there was so much pushback. Like, Tianna, you have no idea back then. Most dealers just had zero clue, zero understanding, zero desire to have a clue, zero desire to understand. So what it started out was, okay, let's bring everything internet sales, digital, CRM into one area, from, let's just say, dealers, like from managers and BDC reps, BDC directors, that were doing something, they were able to share their tactics, their strategies. Then they had new companies that were coming out to support this crazy thing called internet sales and BDC and business development. And so they had the exhibition part, but then it became a place for people to build relationships and to build their network, because we were all outcasts back then. When I first started in internet sales in 1999, that was even further behind this. Like, it was just non-existent. I remember, I tell you this story all the time, that when I first got into this industry, I was doing internet sales completely different. There were absolutely zero CRMs from the automotive industry. The manufacturers would actually send the leads, the purchase requests, through fax. So people would go on to, let's just say, Mazda manufacturer's website. That's who I worked for back in the day. And they would submit an internet purchase request, but they would not get emailed. They would get converted to faxes, and then we used to pick them up. So my whole point is that we were a band of misfits back then. And we basically, after going to these different AAISPs that turn into Digital Dealer, it became like, our thing that, that for all of the founding people in the industry, and then all the new people that were getting into internet sales, we had a place to go. So it's kind of crazy for me that you, being our daughter, is now going through Digital Dealer, not just part of Dealer Synergy, but, you were invited you were a little modest girl. I mean, you were invited to not just be on a panel, but to be on the keynote panel, which was standing room only. I mean, it was a massive event. So talk to me about that. What was that like for you to be on that stage with dealer principals and other high level people, but it was you know what I mean? Not the family and not Dealer Synergy.
Yeah, I didn't realize that there was like other rooms besides the keynote stage. Like, I thought that was it. And then, obviously I went into other rooms and stuff, and I was like, oh, there are other rooms. I didn't realize, it was more to that. So then, when I got down to all the workshops and stuff, I was like, oh, so it's really serious where I'm speaking, because I saw the keynote stage and I saw how huge it was. I saw all the lights and I saw the cameras, and the room was probably our internet sales 20 group. You saw that was how large was that, Sean? Just the stage, kind of that area.
Yeah, like when we do the internet sales 20 groups of the IS20G conferences, at most we have like maybe 200 rooftops that are in that room, in the keynote room, because it's a boutique type event. Mm-hmm. This is more of a conference. So in your stage, I think there was like at least between 600 to 700, people in that room, or the capacity. It's much bigger. So you were at what's called a main stage. So yeah, Tianna, you're 100% right. in conferences, specifically like Digital Dealer, you have the keynote. And what the keynote means is that usually there's no other session going on when that keynote's going. That is the keynote. That means that everybody comes to this main session, main stage, and it's the biggest stage in the event. Then what they have is what's called breakout sessions. And what Digital Dealer has been popular for, and some people don't like it, and I can understand, which I'm gonna get into in a second, is you have like 100 speakers, or like, sometimes more. You have 100 speakers. The challenge is, how do you have in only 2.5 or 3 days, 100 different sessions? You can't do that on only one stage. Like our IS20G conference, the Internet Sales 20 Week conference that we've been hosting for the last 14 straight years, is, different. It's only one stage. There are no breakout sessions. And to me, like I said, it's a little bit different. So the way that I give the analogy for people, if you haven't experienced this, is that a China buffet, like, Chinese food, I love Chinese food. But if you go to a China buffet, usually, you go there, or even go to the Las Vegas to the Wynn, even in a high class buffet. I mean, what is it? You have a lot of different options at the same exact time. The challenge in a buffet atmosphere, so to speak, compared to like a Ruth Chris or like a high level restaurant, is it's not the same quality food. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same quality food as a high-end restaurant. And so you can get full off of it, I like to say, but it tastes different. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. No, I was actually going to say that I felt like the Digital Dealer was a little smaller. Like, I felt more intimidated almost by our conference of all of our, people, there, I think maybe cheering me on. But at the same time, what I was kind of going back to was it just was like super intimidating because it was super big. And then when I went down to the workshops, I was like, oh, I could be, in a room, which is fine because I was, obviously did sessions in breakout rooms like that before, but it just made it that much more a little nerve-wracking. So I was like, it is the keynote stage, and it just made it more like surreal and, just a great experience to be at Digital Dealer. Like I said, I could be in, a little small room in the corner, but I was on the keynote stage sharing it with 5 inspirational people in automotive, like amazing dealer, owners, and Danny Zaslowski, he was there with VinQ, and we were hanging out before we went on the Matador boat, which is also another thing that, we can talk about too, which was an amazing experience to be on a yacht in Tampa.
Yeah, we'll get into that yacht thing there. I want to just touch what you said. Tianna, you're absolutely right. See, the difference is at our Internet Sales 20 conferences, my background is in the National Speakers Association, which is like the NFL for paid professional speakers. I learned a lot of stagecraft, and I basically want to have a boutique type atmosphere. I don't want to have huge booths. I personally think it's stupid. As a vendor, again, your value shouldn't be how big your booth is. I think it's a waste of money. And I think it's a waste of time to just have these big old ass booths, just to have them. Now, let me just be clear. An NADA event is a little bit different. When you have 25,000 people that are going into an event, then a big booth or a huge booth might make sense to accommodate the massive amount of people that come into the booth. But at events like Digital Dealer, it's a great event, but you don't have nowhere near 20,000 people. You don't even have, sometimes not even 1,000 people go through. I mean, the last couple, I think it's been about 800, dealers, if that, right? So to have like a huge booth, I just think it's, I'm not going to say it. I just think it's a waste.
Not to bring that up, but, obviously I went with, it was just me and my partner, V, who also is in the company Dealer Synergy, and she's one of our performance coaches and customer support analysts. And we walked the entire exhibit hall in like 4 minutes, the whole thing. It was smaller than I expected, but it was a super amazing event. And I like you said, it a lot of people didn't really spend money on their booths. It was kind of just pop-ups and a lot of just brochures, and people weren't really being like sales pitchy as, in the past. I remember when I was even walking around, younger, like 13 years old, being around in automotive conferences and just seeing, bubble machines and, different people standing at booths just to get attention and, oh, come drink over here. There's all this alcohol. But this time it was definitely more educational based and more scripted towards actually bringing something valuable back to your dealership. So I was really proud of Digital Dealer for doing that. Maybe that's why the crowds weren't so big, because people saw it. Oh, it's not a vacation for me. It's actual an education. So that's probably why the attendance was probably a little lower than the last couple of years. But hopefully, I'm invited next year, or next year, to the following Digital Dealer. I met and networked with a lot of different people that want to have me back on the stage.
Yeah, T, I don't know if you know, but Digital Dealer is broken down into, they do two events a year. One's usually in Florida and the other one's always in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is their big show. So Tampa or Orlando, sometimes they switch, or wherever it is, the non-Vegas show is normally not as big and not a bigger draw, but it's still good, But to your point, when Digital Dealer or any other automotive conferences in Vegas, that's where, the bigger booths start coming out, and then the booth babes and the booth attractions and all this other stuff. So, but I want to go back to what we're talking about before. So with our events, when we do the IS20Gs, everybody's got to be a keynote speaker, because you cannot get literally hundreds of car dealerships, especially high-level dealer principals, GMs, to come to an event where there's only one stage. But the reason why we do that is, like, when you look at an environment like Digital Dealer or even NADA, there's nothing bad. It's just different, is that they have a situation where they've got to juggle 100 different speakers. And some of them might not be as good as others. Some of them have the same exact topics. And so you have to make a decision as an attendee on what's important to you, what information. And sometimes you don't pick a certain session or workshop or speaker to go to because you think that something else might be better. And so there's a lot of that. There's a lot of disappointment. I wish I went to that one, or that you go to this one and it sucks, or the person's not as good, or da-da-da-da. So it's different when you only have one stage. Everybody's got to be a rock star. Every session, every speaker, everything. So it's just different, man. Like I said, I love China buffets. I love going to buffets because you get a good variety and, you get full. But if I want to have a 5-star high-class experience with the absolute most polished, vetted out subject matter expert speakers, there's a different place for that. Make sense?
Yeah, no, exactly. That's why I was even going to reference kind of NADA, because even with my session with LA Williams, our vice president, I felt like there was a lot of people that I even knew that I was like, oh man, I wish I was speaking earlier or later, because I want to go see their session. So I knew that even, once you go to conferences like that, where there are like concurrent sessions, where they're, everybody's speaking at one time, it's going to be, like you said, you're going to miss a lot of information. So that's what I like about our conference, is that you do get everything if you're there. And you're never going to have that FOMO, that fear of missing out. And yeah, I kind of had that at Digital Dealer, especially when I had to leave to do a couple of proposal, deals and, podcasts. Kind of like I had to do at NADA too. I had to leave the convention to do a podcast on Brad Lee's podcast, but this podcast was a little different. So it was still awesome though.
So let's talk about that. So you just keynoted Digital Dealer, which is a big honor. And previous to that, like about a little over a month ago, you just were a main stage NADA convention speaker. And you've also, spoken on the main stage at the IS20G conferences. So Tianna, you just turned 23 in April, right? So you just turned 23 years old. You're already an NADA convention speaker, a Digital Dealer keynote speaker, IS20G speaker, plus freaking General Motors had brought you out to speak on a high-level panel about diversity and inclusion with a bunch of dealer principals. I mean, like, that's a lot of not just speaking in like the back rooms or the minor leagues. You are on the largest stages in the world for our industry. What's that like for you?
Yeah, it's a crazy experience. And at being at such a young age, even Bradley, when I was on his show, the first thing he said to me was, "Oh, you carry yourself so professional, so much older." And I think it's because I've experienced so much in my life at such a young, amount of small and, young age and small amount of time, that I joke and I laugh and I say, like, people ask me, like, "Oh, do you ever look back and think this is crazy?" Or, you get nervous. And I say, I'm too busy to get nervous. Like, things just move way too fast for me to kind of sit and realize, oh my gosh, I spoke at NADA. And then, the next month, oh my gosh, now I'm speaking at Digital Dealer. And then now, a couple months from now, I have a couple of other, organizations, possibly WOCAN, the Women in Automotive, possibly reaching out to possibly do something. So, like you said, with OEMs, it's overwhelming, but like I said, it's just an awesome experience. That's all I have to say.
No, I'm very proud of you. And again, it's amazing to watch because, like, you're only 23 years old. You already have over 3 years selling cars on the front line on the retail side, but at a very high level. I mean, you didn't work for Toyota or Honda. We purposely had you go through the shit. You know what I mean? And not that Buick GMC is shit, but I'm just saying, like, we put you through it. We didn't want to give you an easy path to success or to speaking. It's not easy being a female in automotive, first of all. It's not easy being a gay female in automotive. It's not easy being a gay Latina female in automotive. But then to achieve what you did, to average 20 cars a month, but out grossing people doing 25, 29 units is insane. But to do that at a Buick GMC dealership, do you think the amount of frontline experience you have has helped you to be on that stage, to have the confidence that you do?
Yeah, I think everything that you said built me up to who I am and what I can do and my accomplishments, just because I kind of look at each, like, not hindrance, but basically each flaw, not flaw about yourself, but how people look at you is kind of like an extra weight on your back. So if you're selling, Toyota versus Buick GMC, I would assume the weight on my back is a little heavier. Not only that, but putting on the weight that I am a woman in the industry, that's a little heavier than the salesman next to me that doesn't have to carry that extra weight on them. Put on the fact that, like you said, I am in the LGBT community. That's another extra pound of weight that I have to carry with me that nobody else next to me had to carry with them. They could just walk freely, all I have to carry is that I'm selling Buick GMC. Okay, well, I'm selling Buick GMC. I'm a woman. I'm gay. And I'm still killing it in this industry while trying to build a brand for myself. And like I said, all of that weight just built me up to be a stronger person, because if I didn't go through those things and speak, like, on the panel about some of the hardships and some of the hateful even things that my customers were saying about me, my managers were saying about me, all of that led me to being the person who I am today. And I think that led me to not being shy as much on stage, not afraid to speak my mind, because, being in those communities, even being Latino, we have to speak up for ourselves and for our rights. And being a woman, especially nowadays, we have to too. So like you said, all of those things led me to be who I am today.
Like when we did the whole Vice TV show, having you as the host for the red carpet, like, just your personality was amazing. And then watching your TikTok, like, you broke over you're almost at 21,000 followers, almost 500,000 likes, and you had one of your videos went viral. You had a bunch of like high volume, views, but one of them hit 2.5 million views with one TikTok video. That one, you sold 10 cars 10 different cars, obviously, off of that. So how does that all connect? It's got to be connected somehow, Tianna, that, like you're great on stage. You're keynoting Digital Dealer. You're doing NADAs. You're on Brad Lee's Dropping Bombs show, which is one of the top business influencer shows in the world. You know what I mean? Like, this is insane stuff. But then you also have this unique personality, that's amazing for TikTok and videos and hosting red carpets. Like, talk about that. How does that TikTok and TV red carpet, persona, how does that, combined and manifest itself?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that I kind of like drank the Kool-Aid, kind of on our philosophies and what we teach and practice here at Dealer Synergy, but I kind of did, like, I have my vision board and I look at it it's my screensaver, and it says professional keynote speaker. And I was on the keynote stage at Digital Dealer like this year. So, it's kind of crazy that, the things that we teach, I do, and it works. And like I said, I'm kind of drinking the Kool-Aid a little, but constantly training and educating myself and being better, never settling for, okay, I'm at the top amount of knowledge of learning I can about this subject. Like, you can always learn more. So even I watch our Bradley on demand videos on car sales, and that helps me with my TikToks. Like you said, is like, how do you get your TikTok videos? Is because I'm watching our training videos and I'm thinking, okay, how can I somehow put this in a TikTok for, my demographic on, my audience on there, and vice versa for our social media. So, and to go off of the persona thing is, have you watched Moon Knight on Disney Plus?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, if you guys haven't watched it, it's an awesome show, but basically it's a guy that, let's just say he has like two personalities, right? And I literally feel like I'm the guy from Moon Knight. So like right before I get on stage, I let the one guy's like just super like mean, and not mean, but like antisocial, doesn't like people. And like, that's me, because I just want to sit inside with my cat. And then literally like the camera is about to go on. I need to like keynote, stage, or I need to host the red carpet premiere, or I need to speak at NADA. And I'm like, all right, it's time to let the other guy in. And I'm like, all right, she is. And I'm like, time to just be this guy that's like super happy. It's my persona. And I even talked about it on the Bradley podcast. I said, like, I have to just, like Beyonce has a persona, I have to just turn into that person when it comes that time for that moment, because, it's a profession, it's an art, it's selling, it's a performance. You're performing for your customer, you're showing them, you're telling them why you're better than, the dealer down the street, why you deserve to earn their business. And every time you see a customer, you need to be on that stage, and you can't, be lazy walking around the lot. Just, that's the backstage. You're fixing the lights, you're doing your makeup. But when you're on stage with a customer, like your front line, you need to be serious. So a lot of that brings me back to just basically doing everything that we kind of, learn at Dealer Synergy. And not to say it again, but I love our Kool-Aid, and it's orange, by the way. It's not red Kool-Aid, it's orange Kool-Aid. And I definitely practice and, preach what I teach. And a lot of our clients even say, oh my gosh, and even oncoming clients say, the reason why I signed on with you guys is because you implement videos, and, you follow up with us in the way that you say that you want to teach us. And, like I said, we definitely practice what we preach. And I think that's what brought me to my success. And our success is just fighting towards one common goal, and that is our organization.
So Tianna, you have a unique background with your parents, with me and Karina. And so I think back, and it's crazy when your mom was doing the recording artist stuff and going on these music video shoots with major like recording artists, like, you being in rap videos, like, with Papoose and stuff like that. And then, taking you to the National Speakers Association, the junior conference that you were able to attend. I mean, do you think that helped you with your confidence? Like the crazy life that me and mama have, you know what I mean? Like all the people we have around us and just the high caliber, did that kind of make it normal for you?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Attention auto dealers, you need an opportunity to do business. AutoWeb is one of the largest suppliers of high quality leads, high quality buyers. At a 10% closing ratio, you will be at less than $190 per car sold. Don't just settle for what you get. AutoWeb can fully customize your results through targeted markets and/or zip codes, and as a partner, you will get premium placement within search results. Who better to do that than literally the people that invented automotive internet sales? If you want to sell more cars more often and more profitably, then you need AutoWeb.
Yeah, it definitely did. It made me realize that we're all people,
Yes.
almost, and that I didn't really celebritize or romanticize people as much. I just realized we're all people with our problems. And, even Beyonce, I'm sure, gets up in the middle of the night and she looks in the mirror and she's like, damn, my makeup's all messed up like I do. And, we go back to bed and we all share those common problems. And that's what's helped me too, is at such a young age, I go on, those conferences, the junior, speaking conferences, how to speak, how to walk on stage, how to present yourself. And then mixed with realizing we're all people just there to learn, and nobody's gonna, think about this, 5 hours from now that you stuttered on your words or, you were slurring your speech. They're there for the education. So all of that mixed together, I kind of feel like myself on stage too. I hop in that persona, but it made me feel comfortable to be myself too.
No, I definitely see the growth, and to be able to have that perspective and that confidence at only 23 is an amazing gift. And it's awesome that you realize that. So now let's talk about this. Like how many, like I just mentioned before when I was talking about Digital Dealer and, its predecessor when it was called the AAISP, part of it is about the networking. Like talk about that for a little bit, T, and not just from Digital Dealer, but and then we're going to hit the podcast with Matador in a second. I didn't forget, that's pretty important, but I want to just get your opinion about the vibe, about the community, not just the LGBT community. I'm talking about the automotive community. Like how many freaking people have you met from social media, from NAMAD, from Digital Dealer, from NADA, from IS20G, from the Millionaire Car Salesman group, from this podcast? Like talk to us about what that's like for you, from just all the networking and all the love from all these people that have just been just really supporting you and, just being your fan.
Yeah, it blows me away when I see how many people actually, like you said, support me, because I realize like, wow, we are on the keynote stage. And even before, when we flew in, we were scoping out the scene and networking at the, little breakfast that they have. And like a dozen people came up to me and they were like, oh my gosh, hi, I just wanted to say, I wanted to meet you and say hello. I know who you are, but you probably don't know who I am. Like I follow you on your social media and I see you got your keys and everything like that. And like I said, it's a great experience because I don't realize how many people's lives I'm touching. And that with our network, like you said, like I saw, DJ who was there, and I took a picture with him. I saw Jason Harris from Matador. I saw Jim from IQ Autos. I saw a lot of people from our network. I was so super surprised. Kelly from Call Review. Just amazing people that I was like, hold up, you're here too? Oh my gosh, you're here too. And then I realized, okay, then that means we're here for one common goal and one common thing, and we're here to learn and really, get together to educate, everybody here and go back with something with our team and with our dealership. So that, and being on the keynote stage with like Erica Tiffany Wells with WOCAN was just amazing. Like, she was voted, the woman's 40 under 40, in automotive news, and it was just inspirational. And Ernie Lee too, he was with his automotive group, and just hearing all the hardships that we go through, not only, like you said, as a diverse, LGBT, but automotive. Danny Z was talking about HR, and so is Sandy, about how HR and attrition is an issue. And that was my, you know, session at NADA. And it's just not about LGBT, it's about disability, it's about everybody in automotive.
Tianna, again, I'm incredibly proud to, just hear just your depth and your insight. So let's go back to so while you're at Digital Dealer, you did the keynote, then you went on a yacht with Matador and, for a podcast. So this is pretty cool, man. Like, you're definitely very interesting. So when you were at NADA, when you were an NADA convention speaker this year, you dipped out to do this high level super show with Brad Lee called Dropping Bombs, in his studio in Las Vegas. Then when you were in Tampa, you were keynoting Digital Dealer, you escaped to a yacht to turn around and do this. So talk to how'd you get invited to that, and what was that experience like, and what'd you guys talk about?
Yeah, it was super exciting. Jason Harris invited me. He basically just reached out, and he saw me at NADA, and he actually pulled out a camera, and he was like, really quick, can you do like a 30-second quick tip video about anything in the industry? And I'm like, that's kind of like vague and, not specific at all. So I'm like, all right, well, let me see, what I can pull out of what. So I was like, sure, just throw the camera on. And, I actually came up with something really good about TikTok. And coincidentally, after that, my TikTok started even blowing up even more. And now each of my videos have like, an average of like 20,000+ views and, likes and interactions and things like that. But he basically, saw that I was good at, improvising and coming up with tactics and skills. So he was like, can you be on my podcast at Digital Dealer? And I was like, sure. And when he invited me, he was like, oh yeah, it's on a yacht, by the way. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, it's on a yacht. And I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. And it was kind of intimidating even more, because I was thinking like, oh, it's just gonna be a small little podcast. But no, like, I show up, it's like this big cruise ship. There's like cameras, and it's not just like one camera, it's like 3 different cameras to get different angles. And there's like champagne, and it's just, it was super exciting and super intimidating. But we were all there. It was me, George, Nino, and Ashley Cavasso. I'm butchering that, but it was funny because we talked about that on Keynote. She was keynoting with us on the panel. But Ashley, that's my girl. She was also there for digital marketing. George was talking about Google Analytics, and I was just talking about TikTok marketing, and basically looking at things on a dealership side and how we need to start moving things into the future with diversity, and with just video overall, that we can start moving everything into a more automated video process. And George paired that with me with, looking at your Google Analytics with those videos, and how to basically track the certain videos that pair well with certain customers. So if you know that a customer is interacting with a trade-in for a Honda Civic and they're looking at a truck, then if you have any videos, about truck deals, then to target them and do things like that. And Ashley was basically just pairing all that up in a pretty bow with digital marketing and marketing better to customers and tracking it all with her dealerships. And she is super inspirational too, because a lot of the things that she talks about is basically empowering women. And one of her stores is 10 out of the 10 salesmen, 8 of them are women. And so it's like a woman dominated sales floor, and it's like a super inspirational thing to hear. And the podcast was super cool, and it was a super rock star moment to be on a yacht. like you said, I had to dip out for the Bradley, and I got to see the Lightspeed VT headquarters. And then this time at this conference, I got to dip out and then, come back shortly because we were still in the Tampa waters to go to the Matador yacht to be interviewed. So it was super cool. And, Matador sent me another request on LinkedIn and was like, "You're invited on our yacht anytime." So I'm excited to have that privilege and opportunity to be like, I can hop on the Matador yacht anytime.
And that's awesome, T. So talk to us, what's in your future? I mean, like how do you've been exposed to so much. You're so plugged in to the community in and out of the automotive industry. From NSA, like, do you plan on joining the National Speakers Association? Do you like speaking? Do you want to, pursue that? Talk to us. What's in the future for T Got Your Keys?
Yeah, I think kind of like a balloon, I'll go where the wind takes me, where the future, blows me, and hope to grow and not pop, and definitely go, like I said, speaking in that direction it's not nerve-wracking, it's inspirational, for me to get off the stage and hear certain people come up to me and say, um, what you said touched me and made me realize, a lot about my everyday life, and hearing that inspires me to just want to be more and achieve more and just continue to educate and keep speaking. So when I got off the stage, I was like, all right, I just want to speak again. Like it's kind of like a roller coaster. Like before you get on, you're like, I don't even know why I agreed to this. You're standing in line. You're like, it sounded fun. We packed for the trip. Now we're in line and everybody's like, get ready. You're excited, right? And you're like, yeah, I'm excited. But then you're like on the roller coaster. And then when you're on stage, like I said, in the beginning, it's scary and your voice is shaky. And then, you get on the ride and you're like, okay, yeah, this is fun. And then when it's over, you're like, oh, wait, that was fast. And that was a lot more fun than I thought. And can I go again? And that's exactly how it feels for me. So that's why, I'm super grateful that NADA had me on stage. I'm super grateful that Digital Dealer had me on stage. Internet Sales 20 Group has me on stage. And I'd be honored to be on any other stages again because, like I said, it's like a roller coaster. It's super exciting.
Yeah, no, shout out to Damon Lester, because I know NAMAD is really important to you, to us, to the family, to the company. So yeah. I'd love to be able to see you on the NAMAD stage. But again, these conferences, they're always looking for subject matter experts and for just good people. My advice to you, not just as my daughter, but just as a professional, the two things that definitely have been very, very, very helpful to me is just mastering my craft. You know what I mean? So whatever you're speaking about, T, whether it's diversity, inclusion, or it's building your own brand, or it's TikTok, if you master your craft and you are passionate about it, if you love it, like for me, I love our industry. That I bleed orange, I bleed gasoline. Yeah. But if I hit that stage and I'm talking about CRM, I'm talking about BDC, I'm talking about internet sales, I'm talking about closing, I'm talking about digital marketing, I'm talking about anything that I specialize in, it's easier for me to talk. It's easy for me to create a presentation. It's easy for me, I feel, to crazy just light up that stage. You know what I mean? Because I love my craft so much, and I know the details. I'm talking about the minute details like a Shaolin master. So my advice to you and anybody listening is that if you want to speak, master your craft. Master your craft by doing it, loving it, and just being it. Personify that craft. The other thing is also study the art of speaking. Let me explain, daughter. There's a couple of different things that people don't even realize when it comes to professional speaking. So one is what's called like stagecraft. Okay, stagecraft is going to be when you are on that stage, everything from, what you're wearing. Okay, if you notice, I have a certain style. My drip is strong. You know what I mean? On stage, that's for a reason, because you're there to put on a show. There's a difference of you on that stage and the people in the audience. there's a reason why the stage is higher. Okay, because those people are looking up to you. You feel me? That's deep psychologically. Second is where you're at and what you do on that stage. Okay, certain people, they get behind the podium and the mic and they're speaking into the mic like this and it's awkward, or they're nervous. If you get out on that stage and you are able to move around, you're able to use body language. Remember, the science of communication says that 55% of communication is visual perception and body language. Even though you're speaking, they learn so much by what you're seeing. So when you're on stage, there's a whole art, and you could Google this, you could YouTube this, or you could just be in like the National Speaker Association. They've got classes on this stuff, but there's stagecraft. And then there's different types of speakers. There's a guy, his name is Dan Thurman. I don't think you've met, I think you did meet Dan Thurman. Matter of fact, you did when we took you to the NSA. Me and Mom, we took you to the NSA. Dan was actually one of the former presidents of the National Speaker Association, but I love telling this story because this guy's really interesting. He can juggle and he can ride a unicycle, and he could juggle while he's riding on a unicycle. I mean, like juggling like knives and fire and all sorts of stuff. And then he ends his keynote with a backflip. So my point being is that this is a guy that's very talented, I guess, with like carnival stuff or magic or circus stuff or whatever, but he doesn't talk. He's not corny and he's not silly and he's not stupid. He has this very serious corporate keynote presentation that he ties, like he talks about balance. Okay. And as he's talking to the stage about the audience about balance, he's balancing on a unicycle and he's, throwing up, his swords or stuff like that. So what I'm trying to say is he uses his natural skill or his natural passion that has nothing to do with speaking to create living metaphors. Matter of fact, do you remember the guy I interviewed on the radio show, the first viral video, that dance video? Remember that guy? He had all the different genres of dancing. Do you remember that?
The evolution of dance.
Yes, exactly. The evolution of dance. I got to interview Justin, on the show. He was a National Speaker Association CSP. He's a professional speaker. He did that dance thing because it was part of his keynote presentation. So what makes real good professional speakers, and in our industry, it's different because there's a lot of subject matter experts that just talk versus having professional speakers. You could be both. I'm both. I'm at the highest levels in the world and professional speaking from the National Speakers Association, right? But I'm also a subject matter expert in automotive, and I mix that together. So if you're able to find one of your natural talents, your natural gifts, for example, a lot of people don't know, but my daughter could sing. She could sing like her mama. Yeah, I mean, and so like, again, I'm not saying that you got to go on stage and singing, but if you find a talent or one of your talents and you incorporate that into your presentation, into your speech, it's dynamic. Then there's comedy. You girl are funny as hell. I'm not funny. I'm not funny at all. Right. So again, there's certain people that are great speakers because they're funny. Think of stand-up comedians. Not saying that your whole show has got to be a joke, but if you've got humor, and you can make people laugh, people will like your presentation, they'll remember it more. And then there's storytellers. There's people that are not rhyming or not making you laugh, but they're so good at telling a story, the way they could, utilize the tone and inflection and get people all excited. And they have these amazing stories, because what a lot of people don't realize is telling stories is by far the number one way that people remember what you say. And they also remember how that story makes them feel. Then I'm almost done, T, with this little speech, class. There's also something called neurolinguistics. Neurolinguistics is a whole nother level, man. So you've got psychology.
I was going to bring that up.
Say again?
I was going to bring that up.
Okay, bring it up. Talked about.
I was just basically going to say, just different neurological ways to enhance your presentation, to interact with your audience, or just more, like you said, like psychological cues to enhance your speech, or even not, I don't want to say like brainwashing, but kind of like mind control, if you can think about it in that kind of sense.
See, there's professional speakers in our industry that I'm not going to put them out there, because I don't want to give away their secrets, but there's like real hypnotists
Yeah.
Okay. And they're not making you do weird things, but there's people that specialize in hypnosis and psychology, neurolinguistics. And I mean, so speaking is not just, I could just talk, I got a voice and I'm just going to just rumble and ramble and blah, blah, blah. No, there is an art to speaking. There's a reason why, the top level speakers are making tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and some people, I will say 7 figures for one presentation and one speech. That's insane. That's what a platform or keynote speaker is capable of. So when you bring that level of professionalism, skill into the automotive industry, they're like, damn, where's she come from? I never seen nothing like that. That's what I see for your future, girl. I mean, like, you're very talented, but a lot of it's natural talent and confidence. When you start going through those trainings and you are around other like amazing high level speakers, like real platform keynote speakers, you have to step up your game, because it's like, man, I thought I was good, but like, damn, they are freaking phenomenal. Does that make sense, Tianna?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. It's just because you star in the high school play doesn't mean you're going to Broadway.
Woo! Say that again.
Just because you starred in your high school play doesn't mean you're going to Broadway.
So you're saying that if you played high school football, you might not be in the NFL. Is that what you're saying to me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Now, exactly. Now, T, let's transition to this, because we are going to be doing the IS20G15. That's coming up. I don't know when, but we're up to number 15. First of all, isn't that crazy that our family and our company Dealer Synergy through the Internet Sales 20 group is going to be putting on their 15th national conference? That's 15 years. What do you think about that?
It's insane. It's unbelievable, just because, like you said, it's 15 years and I just turned 23. So it's most of my life, right? And, growing up, going to the conferences and hearing about the conferences, and all the details behind it and all the planning and everything that goes behind just conducting even the scheduling and getting the speakers. It's insane how much work goes behind it. That's why I applaud NADA and Digital Dealer for everything that they can do and pull off. But like you said, ours is different, right? Ours is one, meal, one concise plan of education. It's not like that buffet style. So I feel like, if anything, our IS20G, our Internet Sales 20 Group 15, it's a little harder because we have to make sure everybody's entertained at all times. It's not just that, a whole movie theater playing different movies you could pop into whichever one entertains you. This is the show, and we got to entertain everybody regardless of what you're there for. If you're there for internet sales, if you're there for showroom sales, if you're there for digital marketing, video strategies, everybody is in the same room learning the same things. So I think that's what's really different about our conference and what brings a lot of dealers, because a lot of dealers I saw at Digital Dealer were the dealers that I saw at our Internet Sales 20 group, and a lot of the vendors that I saw at Digital Dealer were all of the vendors at Internet Sales 20 group. It's just all of the same people, realizing, okay, this is where I need to be. It's a more intimate setting. They realize it's not this whole massive, let me get as many badge scans as possible. And just because this guy wants a water bottle and I scan his badge doesn't mean he's really interested. If you're there at the Internet Sales 20 group and you meet the people that attend our Internet Sales 20 group, they are serious. They mean business, and they are going to walk out with somebody's product or solution, because we don't let anybody in our Internet Sales 20 group conference as a vendor unless you show real results and real products and real solutions, because that's just what we believe in. We don't even want to put our name kind of on your brand if you don't have the results, and if you're not going to bring success to our attendees. And we have some of our clients go there, so we're not even gonna put toxic vendors or people that will waste your money and your time in your vicinity. So I think that's what's awesome about our conference too. And what's different is that there's not going to be a lot of vendors, and it's because we weed out the ones that are just going to be there for your money, and we weed out the ones that aren't going to make you successful.
Exactly. So listen, I'm not saying I'm going to let you pick the next location, but give us some locations that you'd like to see potentially IS20G15 in 2023, because we're not doing it until 2023, obviously. But which location do you like?
I would definitely say somewhere a little warmer. But definitely depending. Tampa and Miami was beautiful. I would say either of those locations were amazing. I don't want to say Vegas just because I think everybody is going to go to Vegas at some convention one way or another at some point of the year. But maybe even, like a California or, like I said, something in Florida because I want to be somewhere warm. We did have our internet sales when you
Wait a minute, aren't you Puerto Rican? Aren't you like Puerto Rico? Why not Puerto Rico? Why not San Juan?
True. Puerto Rico would be awesome to have.
You think dealers would fly out to Puerto Rico? I think so, because it's part of the United States. Yeah. You don't need a passport to go there. It's beautiful. And what do you think? You think San Juan would be a great spot? I think San Juan would be great.
Yeah, no, I definitely think so. The temperature would be amazing. The tourism would be amazing. The food would be awesome. And I think dealers would definitely go for the experience. It's a beautiful island.
Yes, I'm thinking so. So T, listen, I know that you've got 50 million things going on. I really appreciate you taking the time. Is there anything that you'd like to, say to the audience or say to, all of your, friends and people from Digital Dealer, anything before we wrap up?
All I have to say is it was a great experience, and I look forward to going back in the future. I know Digital Dealer said that our panel was very popular, and I could even, I went to the keynote sessions and I saw that our panel was one of the most popular panels, if not the most, just because I even said, what we're talking about, it is controversial. So we're going to have butts in seats anyways, because we're going to have the lovers and the haters there. So we're going to have a full crowd regardless of the stance. Just because we did speak on diversity and the LGBT community and even the disability community and, different things like that. So it was controversial, and a lot of people, like I said, praised us. And when I got off stage, I felt amazing. So I look forward to, chasing that high again and going to the next stage and seeing which other topic I can dominate. Hopefully something that has to do with maybe my TikTok, because that's blowing up more. So I look forward to IS20G15 in the near future. And I look forward to, going to Digital Dealer and NADA in the future, and as well as NAMAD. Can't forget about NAMAD. I love that conference. It's amazing.
Well, T, listen, I'm looking forward to seeing your evolution. If you're this good, this young, the best is yet to come. We talked about this, privately. I think that you creating your course on how to build your brand within the dealership's brand for Automotive Professionals, I think it'll be great. And I'd like to see you guest host some of these podcasts. I think that, you are blowing up out there in the industry, that maybe once a month you should turn around and just host without me or LA, just once a month, because we only have 4 months. That's what I'm saying. I need to keep some for me in LA. But I think that you should tag you in. I think that the audience needs to see and hear a younger perspective, to have a female perspective. So, again, I hope that you have plans on your own network, building your own network, interviewing your own people on our podcast, and, building up your brand even further.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Thank you for having me on this episode, and I look forward to the next.
Take care, T.
So there you have it, the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. This podcast comes to you every week from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. If you have a question about the show or would like the chance to become a guest, feel free to contact us directly at 856-546-2440 or email us at millionairecarsalesman@gmail.com. This program is a presentation of Synergy Records, produced by Tianna Mick and L.A. Williams. Production and engineering by L.A. Williams. The Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast is hosted every week by L.A. Williams and the Millionaire Car Salesman himself, Sean V. Bradley. The Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast can be found everywhere, so please don't forget to review, subscribe to, and share the show. Thanks for listening to the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, and remember, where I'm from, money provides options. The Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast is sponsored in part by AutoWeb. If you enjoyed this podcast, then make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave us a review. Let some other folks know about it. Oh, and don't forget to join the Millionaire Car Salesman group on Facebook. We'll see you there.